So this is MP Cards and Games. Sorry I haven't actually done a video in a while, but I did actually get my invite to the Oceanic Championships, which is the equivalent to Nationals in America for Australia and New Zealand. Australia and New Zealand both have their own separate Nationals, but the thing about that is our Nationals is more like a YCS event where you can do it even if you don't have an invite. So the Oceanics is the big one, you need an invite. I actually got that invite via pass down. I only realised I got it once the website was updated, and I got it from my spiral deck. So I thought I was going to get my invite, but then I won the same amount of games as I could to get my invite. But then it was a random generator, so then I ended up just missing out. But then because someone else must have already had their invite who went to that event, I ended up getting it anyway. And also I just had, the other reason why I haven't been uploading, I haven't had as much content to put in. I've been really busy with school and all. Like, I've got a few assessments right now. But I've got this set up, so I've put this in my actual room where I've got my original starter deck, copy of the Dark Magician, not damaged but played. So it's actually probably the best version I've been able to find on the net. I didn't actually buy this on the net, I've had it for a bit, but it's probably one of the best versions I could find, and it could go up to, and since it's first ed, it could go up to like $30. So I like this setup, and I have like my little box of the Dark Magician. I'm not actually doing a Dark Magician deck, but I haven't had like a really great deck since Spiral, but this is like the new great deck I've got, which is top tier meta. I've only played with it in a tournament once, and I had to leave early because of a family function, and I ended up bricking and not going so well in that event. But yeah, I'll start off the deck list. For the hand traps, we play a really small lineup. I wish I could have put another Ash from the Kyber collection, since I've had this secret for a while. But I wasn't that lucky, and I'm not sure. I might just save up for Oceanics to eventually buy some. But we run the 2 Ghost Ogres, 1 Ash. The main deck's really tight. This is actually Pendulum Magician. So at this stage I don't mind this hand trap lineup, and really against a lot of the other decks I verse at casuals, this is all you really need. Maybe against like Trickstar it might be better to have like another hand trap, but like I don't mind. And I don't, like, I've seen Pendulum Magician players there, but they weren't there this week. They only come very rarely, and they're all the way up in Newcastle. So so yeah, the most top tier meta deck I usually see there is either World Chalice or Trickstar. For the Darkworm engine, we play 3 Darkworm and 2 Gate 0. I don't play the 13 guy. He ends up just bricking, and since his pendulum effect stops you from a lot of pendulums, it isn't that great. But this dude's really great, especially if you can special him with something like Dragon Shrine, and it helps you just make Electrum without even needing your pendulum. And this is just like good to draw because it helps you make your Vortex Dragon. So yeah, for our Chronograph engine, we play the 3 Chronograph and the 1 Time Gazer. I've actually drawn this in a few playtest hands. I think I drew it once in the actual event, and it really sucks to draw this. Even if you have this and you draw this, it's better than drawing that outright, but it's still not that great. But we don't run heaps of high scale, so I guess it's not terrible. This is probably better to draw though than this, especially because this can help you make a Naruto play, which is another negate. Sometimes I've made 3 to 4, up to 4 negates in playtesting before, but I usually make 2 to 1 negate. Even though it's consistently always usually 1. If like I only won 1 out of 3 rounds, and I'll tell you why later. But this is a really good card. This not so much. You don't really want to draw so much. Astrograph, probably the best card in deck. It just helps get so many resources and it helps you make the Vortex. And then we play the 1 Stargazer. I don't think we have ever used this effect to actually get this dude out, but it's always an option. Plus, it's another Allure target. Then we play the 3 purple poison. I know some people will drop this down, but I like this amount because we don't have heaps and heaps of low scale. We do have quite a few, but not heaps. Plus, when he's destroyed by battle or popped, we can pop another card. So if it's really good at playing it going second, which a lot of people want to make it go second. So then, I summon Electrum, and now I get to pop one of your things as well on board. Plus, it's just a dark Pendulum Magician. This is for the up to the pendulum part. We play one Oath Dragon. I was debating on bumping it up. I still might, just because for 2 reasons. It allows you just to get some of your stuff back to your hand, which is really nice. And it's also being able to special summon off Harmonizing to help you make Naruto. And I barely ever make Naruto, and I think that might be one of the reasons. I'm just not running enough actual cards to get to it. We play the 2 Black Fang. We definitely need that. There's not enough high scales. I almost want to bump this up because sometimes we just don't draw the high scales. But this is really good. I do use its effects, but sometimes I even forget that they exist, just at such a nice high scale. We still play the 1 Wisdom Eye. I used to run this at a higher number, but I do like the 1. I don't see people who don't play any. I sort of understand, but I think you should at least run 1 just because it enables to get you to your stuff, and it also helps your astrograph pop and everything. But you don't need this to win. It's just nice little extra and allows you to get into the scales you want. 3 Harmonizing. I only recently got this, and this was one of the things I needed just to finish the deck. It still might need another Electrum, but I've got at least 1. But this is really good. It just allows you to, if you are really bricking in this and you've got the pendulum scales in this, it still allows you to make an Electrum. It also just allows you to make like a Mega and like all your other good Synchro sort of plays, and even good Exceed plays. So it's a really nice card, and it does help you just in so many ways. We play the 1 Zenkai Magician. It's a fairly low scale, but it's also a level 7 target that can special off this, so it helps make Vortex Dragon. And even though we didn't verse ABC at the event, this could be really good against a deck like ABC, just baiting out their like ABC Buster, because this can negate their ABC Buster, so then they're forced to use it on this or something on your board. So that's all for the actual monster lineup. I know it's not much, and we only have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 high, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8 scale. We have a few more lower scale, but sometimes that does make you brick a little, but you're usually not that bad of luck. We play the 1 Pendulum Call. We were playing Duelist Alliance, but I didn't really like it. I liked it more when I thought it could search any pendulum. Like, I might play it again for consistency, but like Pendulum Call, you only want to use it at the end of your plays, like, or just before you pendulum summon, because you can't use Astrograph, Sorcerer's Effect. You can't use half of your deck's effects if you activate this. This is also good if you're in a pickle, like if you just have no scales and you really just need to get into the scales. But it's great, but I'd only play a 1 even though I own 2. And I don't want to play Duelist Alliance that much just because it only can search for 2 cards in the deck, and there's no point I'm playing a card, I activate Desires now, I draw Duelist Alliance, I've vanished my Pendulum Call and my other card, now I can't even activate my Duelist Alliance. You play 3 Dragon Shrine, really good. I might also play a Foolish to go with it. It just helps you make your Darkworm plays, and it's just really nice. The only time you don't want to see this is if you draw like another Darkworm to go with it. Or even then, it's not terrible. As long as you don't draw like 2 of this is pretty bad to draw. Yeah, so good card. We play the 3 Desires. This actually lost me a game. Against Burning Abyss, game 1, I activated 2 of these in a duel, but I also activated like stuff like my Upstart and my 2 Allures. And then I ended up only having 4 cards in deck left and a really small engine. And then he ended up just destroying my entire engine pieces, and then I just lost game 1 like that, which was pretty annoying. Upstart, we're actually playing a 41 card deck, but I like to play the Upstart. It makes it a 40 card deck, and it's just nice to side out. Because I was pretty tight on space, but I do like that because it just helps me side out, because you don't want to side out much in this deck. 2 allures for consistency. The 1 Monster Reborn is just such a great card. And sometimes you can even get back your Electrum, you don't even need to get your opponent's stuff. The 1 Wavering Eye is just great against the mirror and also great to help pop Wisdom Eyes effect. I still like playing the Time Pendulum graph, so even if we only draw, let's say if we brick and we draw this and a Pendulum, at least we have some sort of disruption. It just gives us... It just gives us an extra disruption, but I'm still debating on if I should run it or not, or just like another Pendulum card. It's good, but I'm still debating, and since I'm not playing Duelist Alliance anymore, it's unsearchable. But I definitely like it with Purple Poison getting the double pop. Then the 1 Judgment, it's just really good and allows you to make another negate easier than trying to special summon something from the extra deck. Now we'll go on to the extra deck. We play the 2 Starving Venoms, probably one of the best cards in the extra deck, just because it allows you to use like more Electrums, especially when you only own 1. It's really nice to have just those more copies of Electrum, and also other stuff. You can copy so many other stuff. We're not playing the FTK because we're not douches, and also because the FTK isn't very consistent. The 1 Vortex, just really great card. We play the 1 Absolute Dragon to help make the Vortex. We play Abyss Dweller just because it's good against the Burning Abyss matchup and the True Draco matchup. I've never actually versed a True Draco player, but I know Burning Abyss is fairly popular now. Casuals, and I actually made this one game. Almost won the game, but I ended up getting evenly matched and just didn't have any resources left. It was actually my old evenly matched because I traded it for a few other cards. Because I know it's a great card and everything, but because I'm playing a deck like Pendulum Magician, unless you get evenly matched yourself, you usually have so many cards on board that evenly match is dead. And I have played it in other decks, but only owning 1, you barely ever draw it, and half the time it just doesn't save you. So I got like the extra $10 value anyway, so I didn't mind. The 1 Babushka, just good against other decks. It can shut down certain decks, and it's just really nice card. Tornado Dragon, just really good. Helps you pop your own scales, but also pop your opponent's back row, and especially at casuals where people play all those weird sort of, I meant locals, especially at locals when people play those weird set 5 pass decks. Just being able to summon this and go like pop is really nice. Naruto, when you can make this is really good, and you'll usually make it with a Vortex and a Decode Talker or another Link 3, and you get at least 2 to 3 negates, and this allows to double negate, so that's really nice. Especially you can save the Vortex for like a monster effect, and then this if they try to like evenly match you or Dark Hole or Regeki you. The 1 Hope Harbinger, it's really good to get rid of old Starving Venoms that aren't doing anything, and like one of the Synchros in the extra deck, it's just really nice just to make this dude and like negate spells so they can't Regeki Dark Hole, Twin Twisters and that sort of stuff on you. The 1 Supreme Dragon Clearwing, it's really nice to make when your opponent has a big board. It's like a Regeki in a monster, and then after that you can sometimes rank up into Hope Harbinger. Omega, it's really nice if you like have the harmonizing but you can't make the double negate board. It's not as good, but it's almost as good making an Omega, a Decode or the other Link 3s in the extra deck, and a Vortex, because you're at least dealing with 2 cards your opponent has per turn. So you're making their hand from 6 to 5, and then when they activate something that you want to negate, you're downing that all the way to 4 cards. So it's a nice card to make, but I wouldn't run more than 1. And if they also ogre you can also put back your Omega into your grave and then copy it with Starving Venom. 1 Electrum, this is what makes this deck broken, and it just allows you to make so many good plays. its effects super broke, but you usually turbo this out turn 1, and when you only own 1 copy, your only way to like get stuff back with it's like this, or you play Monster Reborn to get it back. Decode Talker, this is really nice. It didn't save me some of my games, but it made my opponents think more carefully, because they had to try to play through this, Vortex, and another card attached to it, to my Decode Talker. So yeah, Decode was pretty nice. One game it didn't really help me in was against the Dino matchup. They just drew the nuts against us. They just drew their Kaiju Dolgaron every single like game first turn. So they would do Dolgaron, tribute my my Vortex, and then since I couldn't make a Naruto to go with it, I was pretty much screwed. And they would summon it to like the middle zone or something, and then they'd play their Overraptor, send their Dinosaur, get their Evolution Pill, and then OTK me. That was probably one of the hardest matchups of the day. Like, I went pretty well against Burning Abyss, still lost. I won against World Chalice. World Chalice was a pretty easy matchup for me, actually. But, yeah, just, it's really hard when they do Kaiju some of your good stuff. Also, the Metaltron, this is pretty good, and I think I should make it more often. I should probably only make the Decode Talker against specific decks I know that target more, because this has a really good effect. I used to make this more than this, but then I realised, oh yeah, Decode Talker has a negate effect again. But this is really nice, just because it allows you to get advantage back if you do lose one of the things, as long as it isn't one of the things that are linked to it. Plus you get 2 extra zones instead of just 1 extra zone, which that's probably my biggest gripe with Decode Talker. When trying to summon it in this deck. One Vorload, I got this one of the cards I got off trade for trading the evenly match. It's just so good against like the True Draco matchup, and it's also just a nice card in general. Yeah, and it just allows you to link up even more. Like if you got like something like a link 3 or something, and you like want to make a Vortex, because sometimes you can't make the Vortex turn 1, which is very unlikely, but sometimes that does happen. And also this does have other link arrows that point into other locations. So let's say you've got like your Decode Talker, you do a mass Pendulum summon from your hand and from your extra deck, then you can make this and get 2 extra zones enabled, which is really nice. Now we're going to move on to the side deck. I used to have Evenly Match in there, but I don't have it in there anymore. We put Drool and Lockbird. Only one, and we do own 2 copies. We actually traded one of our supers from the OTS pack for a rare Drool and Lockbird, and also for a Harmonizing. I'm not sure if that was a fair trade or not, but I didn't mind, since I was still at least getting another Drool. We pulled this one out of the Kyber collection, our ultra rare one. It's good against the Mirror. It's also good against Trickstar, which is usually one of my hardest matchups. Even when I was playing Spiral, it was annoying, especially when they hand killed you. But if you do that to like their Terraforming, they usually are slowed down heaps. And then against this deck, like I got drilled once and it really, really hurt. It just slowed me down a fair bit. But yeah, Drill's just a really nice card against this deck, and against a few other decks in the format as well. And it's just another hand trap you can side in. The 3 Winter Cherries against the Mirror. We would put other stuff in our extra deck, like ABC Buster and that sort of stuff, but we don't really see many ABC players at locals. So, like, I have some generic targets as well, so stuff that I... Stuff I don't really want to deal with from my opponents if they're not playing Pendulum Magician is, like, I don't really want to deal with Omega. For my opponents, I don't really want to deal with Tornado Dragon, Babushka. Don't mind the Beast Dweller. Maybe the Decode, like the Decode's pretty good to take down in the Vorload. But even then, if we're versing the Mirror, which some people do bring in Pendulum Magician, taking their Electrums out are really good. And some people have Electrums at our locals, but they don't play Pendulum Magician, they play Dino Mist. So taking that out, they're not dead because they do have another link. They have the Machine Link that they can use. and they also have Mr. Boy, but it does still really hurt them taking out the Electrum because it's like the best of all of them. And also, we also put in the side deck a Toad since we have a few Frog players, so it's really nice to banish their Toad. We play the one Denko Sekka because, yeah, we do have Paleo player. The evenly match used to be pretty good against him. I think that was the only time I ever successfully pulled off evenly matched and it actually helped me win a game. Like the other times I've drawn it, it's just been really bad. But we don't even run evenly matched anymore. But this is really nice just because it stops all those Saki decks which you see sometimes at locals. The one Chaos Under, I wish I had more, but I only have the one. But it's really good against Trickstar. Like, it's won me a few games against Trickstar, and it's just good against a few other matchups, and it's just a nice free special summon, and can actually help you make your Vortex Dragon, which is pretty nice. The two Kaijus, just against those annoying matchups that can make negates, like against the Mirror or against other decks, that like True Draco. The one Winged Dragon or Sphere Mode against the Mirror, or a deck that can make a really nice board that's really hard for us to out. Even World Chalice, this is good against, because if they make like a Gamma Seal, even though we didn't actually have to verse one that actually ended up making a Gamma Seal because he didn't draw so well. Even if they make a Gamma Seal and two other cards, it's just nice to do that, so then you don't even have to like bait their negates. The one Regeki, again, a lot of rogue decks and lower tier decks lose to this card real hard, and it's also good because it can out stuff like Brawlload, but it's just like a really nice card still, but I don't run it in main anymore, just don't have enough room. Wavering Eyes, I was debating on playing the second, but I like to side this in against the Mirror or against something like Dynamist, another Pendulum deck, so we just get all of its effects to proc. One Cosmic Cyclone against the Rogue, but also against any Pendulum deck and Trickstar, because it actually gets rid of their back row, like, and especially if they're anti-spelling me, this isn't too bad to put in. That's another reason why I like Time Graph, is because it can actually get rid of the anti-spell fragrance, which is really annoying for this deck to deal with. So we really only have like 3 or 4 outs to that in the entire main. So we try to run as many outs as we can. Against the Mirror, but also hurts a few other decks, is Dimensional Barrier. Pretty good against the Mirror, and especially because we don't have evenly matched and we can't run anti-spell fragrance. I would play Unending Nightmare, but I traded mine a while back. I don't regret it, really. And we play the one Toad. So yeah, it was fun playing this, but I do want to test a few more weeks before I conclude how great it is. I know it has won heaps of events, but not exactly this variant. This is probably the fairly generic variant. I might change a few tech choices, and if I get like more Electrums and more Ashes, I'll definitely put them in. But yeah, hopefully I should be able to do more content a bit again. MP Cards and Games signing out. So this is MP Cards and Games. Sorry I haven't uploaded in ages, and I meant to get this deck profile up sooner. It was just I ended up adding cards and taking cards out of the deck, so it was a bit hard to do it if I kept on changing it. So when I actually wanted to upload, I got some new cards for it. So for my Pendulum deck, I took out Potted Desires for a Call to the Grave. I still have 2 Potted Desires in the deck, but I used to always deck myself out or draw it off another Desires. So I do like the 2. Sometimes you do want to see it, but other times it's okay not to. I think you see it enough. There are a few times I wish I could see it when I didn't, but like even with 3 that wouldn't have guaranteed me to have it anyway. But Call to the Grave is pretty nice. I only run the 1 because I only own the 1. If I had to, I'd probably run 2. I probably wouldn't run 3. I would slide the 3rd one in. But since a lot of people at my locals either have Ghost Ogre, Ash, or Effect Veiler, most of them have Effect Veiler. It's really annoying against Electrum Effect Veiler, so this is really good. And when I first got it, I actually drew it quite a few times. I wouldn't like running 3 because it'd be too much of a brick 2. Maybe I wouldn't mind testing out 2. Call to the Graves, but just really good against those hand traps, which are annoying against this deck. I also got the Lost Art Monster Reborn instead of the normal monster, my common Monster Reborn, so that looks really nice. and instead of the third Dragon Shrine, I put in a Foolish. I took it out just because it does have one or two more utility plays, like if you do run out of all your Dark Worms and you want to put a Black Fang target, you can into your grave. I did do a bit more changing at the side deck though. I changed out 2 cards in that as well. I took out 1D barrier, so I still have 1D barrier, and I put in the Babushka. Babushka is good, but I didn't have room in the extra because I had to take that out of the extra for Underclock Taker. Since I only own 1 Electrum, this is really good if that gets destroyed, and then if they Reapers you, this is just like your way to get into a easy link too. And it does have quite a few utility, the Underclock. This is still good, but it's not as good at my locals compared to Abyss Dweller. I think I had the Chaos Hunter still in there. I did switch out the Wind Kaiju for this one. I couldn't find it at the time, but then I ended up finding it. It's better with Allure of Darkness. I know it has 100 more attack, but that usually doesn't matter because once it's over 27, it's not easy to deal with anyway. So because this is dark, it's just an Allure target, and hopefully you can beat over it if you give it to your opponent. Not that I've ever really had to side it in, but it's just there against if I do have to face True Draco. I think I might have added a Cosmic Cyclone for... I used to run Denko Sekka, but I don't anymore. I added in a second Cosmic just because it is better against the back row things than Denko, since you need your normal more in Pendulum. You never used to, but now you need it a bit more, especially with Electrum. And I do have the Lance here against all this sort of like the evenly matched and a few other little things here and there. I think I had the Brawl Load, but if not, I got the Brawl Load, got it off trade by trading evenly matched, but I also got other stuff for the evenly matched. I didn't just get the Brawl Load, or that wouldn't have been a fair trade. But this is really good, especially against a lot of matchups. That's why I did actually have to take the Babushka off. But it's also good for another rank up, especially if you already used your DK Talker and your Sephra Metaltron. And I'm hoping that I can upload some more content more frequently again. MP Cards and Games signing out.